In the whispering shadows of the forgotten city, beneath crumbling stone and the echoes of lost civilizations, dwelled a necromancer of reluctant repute. Let me tell you the tale of Therin Shadowfinger, who commanded legions of the dead with a heart heavier than the graveyard air. Once a scholar in the arcane arts, Therin had not sought the mantle of necromancy, but fate had woven his threads deep into the shrouded fabric of the catacombs. Within the damp catacomb expanse, surrounded by solemn skeletons, Therin sighed deeply. Why must it always be skeletons? He mused, casting a weary glance at his bony companions. No one had told him of the perpetual clatter, nor the ceaseless tapping of bones that danced endlessly just outside his window of peace. For years he had lived amongst them, mastering a craft he had never truly yearned for, yet growing strangely fond of his bony retinue. Each skeleton bore its own peculiar charm, a tilt of the skull here, a mismatched ribcage there. Therin had begun naming them. Gibbeth, the graceless skeleton whose every movement prompted the sound of a small landslide. Fetlock, whose leg bones caused it to perpetually stumble. Yet even in this macabre companionship, a grave threat loomed. News had reached him of a fervent cult seeking to unearth a darkness buried deep within the catacombs. An ancient evil, slumbering for eons, yearned to be awoken. Therin pondered this disturbing development as the skeletons assembled before him, an army as reluctant as its master, but bound by the necromancer's will. "To arms, my reluctant kin," he called, his voice echoing indignantly in the silent underground halls. "We must protect the city above from those who seek its ruin." His command was answered with the cacophony of skeletal compliance, bones clicking and clattering in a melody of grim determination. The cultists, garbed in tattered robes of deep crimson, descended into the labyrinthine passages with zeal and madness in their eyes. Therin and his skeletal warriors met them at the windswept crypts, where echoes of past lives resonated through the hollowed halls. Battle was joined, the clash of steel and bone reverberating through the claustrophobic corridors. "Do they not understand a skeleton's desire for peace?" Therin quipped, watching as one of his troops, a skeleton of questionable limb integrity, mistakenly charged into a wall instead of their foe. Amidst this chaotic dance, Therin wielded his magic with cautious precision. Strands of dark energy swirled from his fingertips, binding the animated skeletons with unyielding loyalty. Yet he found himself contemplating the irony of his situation, defending the city from destruction by awakening its stalwart protectors, the very creatures who should lie at rest. His thoughts wove tight circles as Therin delved deeper into the heart of darkness. He felt a connection, more vibrant and perplexing, growing with his undead army, a trust that transcended mortality, as if every hollow socket gazed at him with a loyalty untarnished by time. "If only I could command live soldiers with such commitment," he chuckled ruefully as Fetlock tripped for the umpteenth time, sending a cultist sprawling into a nearby sarcophagus. As the battle raged on, Therin's mind remained a maelstrom of contradictions. Could one ever consider a bond formed within proximity of death itself an unbreakable alliance? Bonds forged in darkness wrapped in humor and macabre warmth. "Hold the line, Gibbeth," he called, watching as his dearest skeleton tumbled head over heels, inadvertently dispatching another hapless cultist. Victory, at last, lay within reach. The cult retreated. Curse-laden murmurs and eldritch threats lingered in the stagnant air. Their departure was not one of surrender, but a promise of future turmoil. As the last of the crimson-robed maniacs vanished into the shadows, Therin and his skeletal comrades stood amidst the ruins of their battled home. Therin sighed yet again, the weight of his command momentarily lifting, but promising its return on another dreadful day. "Perhaps next time we can all just stay quietly in the crypt on Sunday mornings," he mused, hoping his tired bones could find some respite before the inevitable next call to arms. And so the necromancer's story of shadow, bones, and humor ebbed to a close, but not without leaving spirits warmed by his peculiar tale. Like the nature of the delicate ties we form in the most unlikely places, it was beautiful in its unexpectedness. A curious tale, conjured in darkness, that reminds us that true companions can come from both sides of the veil, alive or otherwise. What would you have done in Therin's place? Cast your thoughts into the fire's glow, and perhaps your stories will find their way into the next night. And don't forget to subscribe to ensure tales such as these continue to rise again and again from the crypt of our curious minds.